Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are taking you on a beautiful journey to the southeast of England, exploring the fairy tale like Leeds Castle, charming city of Canterbury, and the breathtaking white cliff of Dover. So get ready for castle views, cobbled streets, and coastal bridges. Being my daughter's birthday and she was already in London, so we decided to celebrate it with a day tour outside the London city. Our hotel being close to Victoria coach station, we booked our coach starting from here.
There is, you've got to be very careful with the boat. If you do the boat, you could get stuck on the river. Just bear in mind. But there is, yeah. Morning.
Our tour guide was a jolly good fellow and kept us engaged and entertained with loads of information throughout the tour.
Oh wow, you're a good group, I like this. Do me a favour again. Thanks for us getting on very well, enjoying cordial banks. To our left we've got this green Catholic France for Elizabeth I. So some people say that was involved in his mysterious death. I'm not convinced. I believe the story that tells you that one night here, in a
Pretty soon we were on highway and our tour guide kept talking about the countryside.
So that was achieved by sending the B team to Rochester. Now if I took you to Rochester Cathedral, you'd see it outright.
After about 1.5 hours of journey, we reached to Kent, where Leeds Castle is located. And while driving through to parking area, we found a lot of other tourists and student groups who had come to visit the castle. Just to inform you that Leeds Castle is not located in Leeds, which is another place in England, but is located in Kent.
Yeah, where would I go to prison? One where would I go?
This 12th century built castle has seen everything from medieval queens to modern events. The interiors are stunning and the views even better. We witnessed a beautiful living room, dining room, sitting rooms, and few other rooms in the 2 floors of castle. We also saw a vintage black and white television housed in a beautifully designed case. We also saw a library or study room housing large number of books, besides a vintage wall clock, vintage electrical switches, and vintage gramophone record player. Leeds Castle is often called the loveliest castle in the world, and honestly, it lives up to the hype. The castle is surrounded by a beautiful lake and lush gardens. While roaming around the castle, we witnessed a few ducks alongside the lake, having shining blue neck and head, which was peculiar. Tourists can have a mini train ride around the castle and also can enjoy boat ride in the lake. While moving towards our next destination, that is Canterbury, our guide showed farming of rapeseed oil plants and also farming of apple trees on the way.
Try to give you cold pressed rapeseed oil and the husk they then use for animal fodder. Having said that, looking at the wires going along the top, I'd wager these aren't actually apple trees because that's the sort of height they go.
After about 45 minutes of drive, we arrived at Canterbury with a view of colourful houses on its outskirts. And while driving towards city centre, we witnessed the walls of Canterbury Castle, which was built in 11th century, now exist as ruins, though remaining stone work present it as an important historical site.
Lost the city to an occupying force from
The High Street, which is Canterbury's main thoroughfare, offers a feast for the eyes with plenty of retail outlets. One can see beautiful architecture with attractive cafes, pubs, and restaurants. There are plenty of places to pause with a coffee to people watch. Our guide briefed us about the city and left us for 2 hours to explore on our own. We headed towards Canterbury Punting Company, co-located with the Mooring Cafe and Bar, and booked a 45 minutes punting tour besides buying my daughter's favorite red velvet pastries and wine to celebrate her birthday on the boat.
They want me to stop talking so you can cut cake.
Happy birthday to you. Cheers, 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 cheers.
Happy birthday to you.
I'll give. You gotta take.
Who else's birthday is it? Happy
Happy birthday. Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
That's awesome, right?
45 minutes of punting tour was a unique way to explore the city's scenic waterways. As we glided along the river, we passed historic buildings, lush greenery, and picturesque bridges, all while enjoying a peaceful and relaxing atmosphere with a glass of wine. The knowledgeable guide shared fascinating stories and insight about Canterbury's rich history, making the experience both educational and enjoyable.
This is an old miller's tunnel, so the flour millers that used to make all the city's flour, they used to use punts, a lot like this boat here, like rafts or punts, and they'd transport the flour from the Abbott's Mill through these tunnels and up to the bakeries upstream near where we started from. So that's why I wear a hat to work, just in case they crawl in my hair.
Have you ever had one crawl in your hair?
Yeah.
That's well true, isn't it?
Here you have a Tudor coach house where people used to park their horses and stuff, little stables. And ahead of us on the right, you have what I like to call Ye Olde Pizza Express restaurant. Stour or Stour means stubborn or fast, yeah? Calm, right? We're in the middle of spring, nice calm day. Ahead of us on the left, you'll start to hear the sound of the rushing water. These are called sluice gates, and they're the oldest. So that's with one of the 12 gates open. You can imagine what that sound will look like with all 12 open in the winter. The current gets about 4 times faster than it is today. And yeah, that's why again you picked a really nice time of year to come out. So I don't go to the gym. Survive in its entirety.
Excuse me.
The pub. The pub. And that's why it's my favourite. It's fairly local. Okay. And you guys, where are you from?
India.
India, perfect.
From New Delhi.
New Delhi.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Did you like it?
Which place?
Oh, Bandra Kurla. Yeah.
I've got family in Bangalore.
Oh, wow, nice.
It's IT hub.
Yeah.
as soon as everyone's visiting, I imagine everyone's going to the cathedral today. The date to the sort of 12th, 13th century, after the Norman invasion, they all have flint in the flint stone in the outside of the mortar and stuff. Very weather-resistant material to protect your buildings. Naturally occurs in the rivers and waterways here.
Flintstone.
Flint, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's shiny, like sort of grey.
Yeah.
Flint rock. You see it in the face here. This is the face of Helen of Troy. Really? Yeah. The face that launched 1,000 ships. She is a character in one of Christopher and Helen. My nephew's just started studying Greek history and the Trojan War, and I told him that was Helen of Troy. And he said, oh, she looks kind of mid, right? Which apparently translates, I didn't know what that meant. Apparently it translates to, he thinks he can do better than the face that launched 1,000 ships. So, where that pigeon's just flown there, do you remember I said that in the Middle Ages, the river was not very clean? That's a privy gap, or a privy hole there, would have connected to an old style of toilet back in the day. Oh, no. Yeah. And now the pigeons roost in there, you know, they don't really care. But yeah, we stopped.
It was indeed wonderful way to see the city from a different perspective and takes in its natural beauty. We really loved that boat tour, especially the guide was just wonderful as his storytelling was just out of the world.
Don't tell anyone. I'd be sat on a chair like that.
Sorry.
Is that that little sparrow? Yeah. Yeah. They're good at catching the flies though, so if anything, you should be grateful that you're not going to have flies landing you.
So would we kill you on the chair?
Well, it depends. So I'd be tied to the chair, dunked in the water for about a minute. If I was then floated back to the surface and I was still alive, I was definitely a witch. Stupid. Because if I drowned, they'd be like, oh no, like, you know, God forbid we made a mistake. They'd give me a proper Christian burial and stuff, but I would be dead. If I survived the ducking, I'd be burnt at the stake as a witch. So either way, yeah. And that is a replica of one that we found in Fordwich in the Yeah, they picked a pretty difficult life, but they just kind of stick with it. They're quite resourceful. Yeah, good at my name's Luke. You can give me a mention.
Of course.
But if you've had a terrible time, my name's Bradley. Can you be your name, please? Luke.
Luke and the nephew.
Give me one as well.
Tips are warmly received. That's safe to visit Australia in August with my partner.
Oh, come on.
Ducks. You're so rude. It's healthy. Yeah. Awesome.
At the end of the tour, I thanked the guide for keeping us engaged and entertaining. Our next tourist attraction was Canterbury Cathedral. One thing I loved about Canterbury was how walkable it is. Whether you are exploring the cathedral, checking out the shops, or grabbing coffee at a cozy cafe, there is so much charm around every corner. Due to this cathedral, Canterbury was a pilgrimage site in the Middle Ages and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Two hours given by our guide to explore the city was now getting over, and we started walking back to our coach for our next destination, that is White Cliff of Dover, where we reached after about 30 minutes of drive.
Where they came to survey the coastline, Churchill and Vice Admiral Ramsay. They were renamed the underground cliffs at Dover a little while ago. Quite why, I don't quite know. I would have left them with their actual name, Hellfire Corner, to describe what happened in the war, of course. Well, look up there, there it is. Ta-da, the tunnels. Although this is a beach, you're unlikely, I know it's a nice warm day to see anybody bathing in it. Sometimes they do. Sometimes people sit on the beach, but it's the water's still pretty cold.
The iconic White Cliff of Dover is one of England's most dramatic natural landscapes. The view here are absolutely unreal. We saw the English Channel stretching out forever, and on a clear day one can even spot France on the other side of English Channel. After getting down from coach, we decided to spend some time on the beach of English Channel, which was looking just amazing. And then we went for an ice cream treat from the local cafe. What a day! From ancient cathedrals to storybook castles and stunning coastlines. This part of UK is full of surprises. If you're planning a trip to England, definitely add this spot to your list. Thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. Feel free to like, subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss the next travel videos of London Day 3. Bye until next time.